Hey guys, welcome to Sippin Spillin. I'm Mike from 3 Mississippi, and I'm just out here checking the deer feeder. Believe it or not, the battery's dead on it, and the solar panel, something ate the wires on the solar panel. Whatever. Today I'm gonna talk to you guys about disappointment and honesty and pride, and how all of those things came into play this last weekend. All right. As some of you guys know, there was a guy's trip to Spring River, Arkansas, and this was the husbands of several channels, right? We had Gary from Simple Life Reclaimed, we had Anthony from Country Road Cure, we had David from Come On Homesteading, Mike from DD5, Tim from Ridge Life, myself. Hey, wait a minute, did I skip somebody? Anthony and Gary from On the Mountain, David, and oh yeah, Drew. Haha, my bad. I was like going through geography there. Tim from Ridge Life and Drew from Drew's Lens, and then myself, Mike from 3 Mississippi, and my buddy Ryan, who lives down here in Mississippi, went with us. And I got to be honest with you, there was some disappointment. I was disappointed. We'll get into the details about why as we break this weekend down. So we'll start with the scenery. It was absolutely beautiful. And let me tell you something, all of us have been working as David would say, our booyakakas off, right? I mean, it's been a busy year, and you know, everybody's had a lot of work to do, and it was great. It was a great idea to take this guy's weekend and go trout fishing. So the scenery was absolutely beautiful. This area of Arkansas is kind of starting to get into the Ozarks. It's hilly. The water is crystal clear. The streams, there's waterfalls and just rapids, and warm in the daytime but not crazy hot, and cold at night. Feels good. You can have a fire. Absolutely beautiful place. Some other things we can talk about. We can talk about the food, right? What was the food situation? Well, no disappointment there. Let me tell you, we brought the food. Syd made some quiches, some little, they're like little biscuit size. She made them in biscuit pans, you know, eggs and sausage and cheese, and there's some spinach and some mushrooms and some bell pepper in there. She made like 3 dozen of those so that we could just pull them out of the fridge, out of a bag, and eat them and go. And then Roxanne from Country Road Cure made these ridiculous muffins. They were blueberry, and they had like a crust on them that was probably sugar and cinnamon and butter, and I'm just gonna say, on top of that, you know, we all brought food, right? And we all brought extra. So Ryan and I brought some andouille from down here in Mississippi, and the other guys brought, you know, kielbasa style sausages and hamburgers and ridiculous amounts of bread. We all brought bread and buns. We had like a whole bread aisle going on up there. The food was off the chain. David from Come On manned the grill both nights, and it was yeah, it was nothing to complain about. The food was outstanding. It was great. So, you know, that brings us then to the camaraderie, you know, and I got to tell you, there's a reason that people get together and go on a trip like this. Several reasons. One of them is, yeah, just to get away from your daily routine and try to decompress and try to, you know, stop thinking about the things that have been troubling you, and try to focus on just having a good time for a little while. And, you know, a big part of that is camaraderie and, you know, fellowship with guys and, you know, or gals, but in this case, it was just the guys, and it was much needed. It was, you know, these guys are all such just, you know, cool and genuine people, and, you know, we get to know each other even after we've hung out a few times, you know, we watch each other's videos and we get to know each other by the project they're working on, and we forget that sometimes we're not working on a project. We're just laughing and having a good time and playing a hand of poker, or, you know, trying to show another one, you know, how to work a fly rod or whatever. And so it was outstanding. We did all the above. Everybody shared different techniques, you know, as far as fishing goes, and everybody was really rooting for Gary from Simple Life Reclaimed to, you know, to catch a lot of fish, and he did. Everybody caught a lot of fish. Gary caught the biggest fish, and we're proud of that, you know. So it was a real good time. The camaraderie was awesome. We played some poker, and you know, actually 2 nights of great poker. The first night, we got down to sorry, Mike from DD5, but Ryan and myself and Mike were the final 3. And I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna be honest, I looked over at Ryan's stack of chips and he had a big old stack of chips, and I looked at my stack of chips and I had a big old stack of chips. I looked at Mike from DD5s and he had a little stack of chips, and I was like, if I can get him out, it's like 2 in the morning at this point, 1:32 in the morning. I was like, if I can get Mike out, maybe Ryan will just split the pot with me and we can go to bed. So that then became my focus, and I think Mike picked up on it. But hey, it's a game, right? It's a game, and that's how it worked out. We finally got Mike out of it, and Ryan and I offered Ryan to split the pot, and he looked at me, and I saw in his eyes he wanted to win for just a second, and then he accepted. We split the pot. We all went to bed. Second night, another great poker game. You know, 8 guys playing Texas Hold'em. Got down to 4, and then Mike became the dealer. Mike from Drifting Dreamers, and he's an amazing dealer. I'm gonna tell you all right now, I'm thinking about having a big poker night and having him be the dealer. But anyway, we got down to the final 4. I made it to the final 4, and Tim was in the final 4, and Drew was in the final 4, and my buddy Ryan was in the final 4. And it became a serious game. Well, we all got a little bit serious. We were playing poker. And then Tim went out finally, and it was getting late again, and I felt like I was still doing good, but not good enough. Drew showed up to play that night. I think while we were fishing that day, Drew was listening to some podcasts on, you know, on how to play Texas Hold'em, some strategies, because Drew was playing. So finally busted me. I was out, and now it was down to Drew and Ryan, and it was a great game. Anyway, I got to tell you guys, it was a lot of fun, and so definitely no disappointment in the camaraderie. It was much needed. It was good. So I guess that brings us to the fishing. And I got to be honest with you, this is where the disappointment lies for me. This is where the disappointment. This is I'm going to have an honest, truthful conversation with you guys about the fishing. It's off the chain, okay? It is, but I showed up with a big old bit of pride sitting on his shoulder right here, and wound up having to make a pie out of it and eat it. And that don't taste as good as trout. And let me explain why. Let me explain how this went down. So I've done a lot of fishing in my life, and I've done an awful lot of trout fishing. You know, high altitude, you know, 10,000 foot lakes in the eastern Sierra Nevada mountains, streams, rivers. Any of you guys that are familiar with like 20 Lakes Basin, or, you know, the East Walker River, you know, these pristine high altitude trout fishing pieces of heaven along the 395 in the eastern Sierra Nevada mountains. I fished them a lot, and there's a lot of skill that you pick up on, and you learn about trout fishing, and you know, how to stay downstream of them, and how to never let the sun get behind you, and, you know, how to present your fly and let it drift right into the right spot. You know, just how to predict these wild trout that are constantly in fear of something eating them, and always looking for that little morsel. And they got this calorie counter, and they're saying, okay, the effort I put to get that mosquito, is it worth it? And so knowing, you know, you could be off by a foot in your presentation, and you don't get the rise on the fly. So I just felt like I was a great trout fisherman. Nah, like I was a really good trout fisherman, okay? And I got a little cocky. And Tim from Ridge Life starts talking up his method of catching fish. And I was like, man, you a bait fisherman. What are you talking about? You know, yeah, I fish with bait. I'll catch bluegill with bait. But I'm gonna go up there and I'm gonna show you how it's done. I'm gonna bring my fly rod, and my goal was to catch a wild fish. They stock a ridiculous amount of rainbow trout in this river where we went. Just a veritable plethora. Most of them are, you know, 12-inch fish, but there's 13, 14, 16, 18, occasionally 20-inch fish that are stocked in there. There's a lot of stocked fish. But there's also some wild fish. There's some wild brown trout, there's cutties, there's brookies. And I was like, look, you guys go catch your numbers of your stocked rainbow trout that were dumped off the truck, you know, 3 days ago and have no idea how to really fend for themselves. They were raised in concrete runs in a hatchery, and now they're hungry and they're gonna eat anything you throw at them. Go catch those. I'm gonna catch me a wild brown or some brookies or some cutties. I got it handed to me, guys. I got it handed to me. I was doing, my technique was not bad. I was not overly disappointed in my technique, even though I was a little bit rusty. There was a few times I was, you know, I wasn't getting it to lay just right. You know, maybe I was laying it down too soon, but you know, my fly would land a little short. My tip would, you know, kind of bunch up. But aside from a little bit of frustration in my presentation, I felt like I was doing well, and I caught zero fish with my fly rod. And so then I decided to switch to Tim's technique and started slaying them. Now, yeah, I was catching the, you know, the stock trout, but who cares? That's, I mean, look, you know, you pay all that money for your fish and game, you know, licenses, and it goes to a lot of things, managing the deer herd and, you know, different things with forestry. But one of the things it goes toward is, you know, helping stock these rivers and lakes so that people will buy more fishing licenses, right? And it just, I mean, look, when you start fishing the way, and I'm not even gonna say his technique here, you know. Oh man, this is sipping and spilling. I'm spilling it, guys. I'm spilling it. Yeah, this is sipping and spilling. Tim uses pre-cooked shrimp, medium pre-cooked shrimp on a number 6 hook, puts a split shot about 18 to 24 inches up so that it pulls down. It's a pretty fast current, so that it pulls that shrimp down to the bottom, and then it'll just float up off the bottom a little ways, you know, above that. And there's nothing like it. All the other people that were at the river that we saw, they're fishing various techniques, and there's people catching fish for sure, but we were slaying them. So my disappointment from this weekend, guys, is my disappointment in myself. You know, when a buddy of yours tells you, dude, I'm telling you, this spot that you, by the way, have never been to, and I've been there many times, is what he should have said to me, but he was being nice. This spot, this is how you do it. If your buddy tells you this spot, this is how you do it, it works, you got to try it, right? And I just wanted so bad to prove that, you know, that I was the better fisherman, that I resisted. And so my disappointment is in myself about the fishing. But at the same time, it was a good lesson, right? And everybody's, yeah, I mean, Tim was a good sport about it. He didn't like, I told you so or anything like that. Maybe he did a little bit, but not bad. You know, I did have a great time fly fishing. I enjoy fishing as much as I enjoy catching sometimes. There's something about when you're fly fishing, you're studying a lot of things. Because you're trying to think like a wild fish, right? I mean, you gotta understand, you know, a 21, 22-inch brown trout is 4 or 5 years old. It's been battling the elements and trying to stay alive from overhead predators and, you know, everything for all these years. And it's, you know, it's tough to catch. So you're trying to think like that fish when you're fly fishing, and you're trying to present, and you're doing all, and it keeps you from being able to think about the things in life that have been troubling you. You know, if things have been going, if you've been having some struggles at work, and if you're, you know, if you're trying to work through some things, and you know they can be very consuming during the work week, or you know, if you got something going on with your animals on the farm, or your deer plot's not, you know, you haven't got enough rain and things are not sprouting, like all these things that trouble you, they don't trouble you when you're fly fishing, because you're engaged in just these tasks. But guess what? They don't trouble you when you're fishing with shrimp in the Spring River either, because you're constantly hooked up. I mean, that's the reality of it. It was amazing. Everybody caught a lot of fish. I gotta tell you guys, it was a great weekend. It was a great time. Now we're back at it, back on the farm. I'm pulling deer cameras right now, trail cameras right now, and we're gonna see what kind of action's been going on out here. Filling the corn feeders. I'm gonna have to go get some batteries and replace batteries in this because, well, because something ate my plug, and I probably caught it on camera. I may have to come set some raccoon traps down here. Been getting quite a bit of raccoons down here, but anyway, that's it, guys. Thanks for hanging out. I'm happy to be honest with you guys about having to swallow my pride. You understand, honesty is like a teenager. They don't care about your feelings, right? On that note, love you guys, and don't forget, safety's off. God bless you.